You blink awake to the sound of someone boiling something. Not coffee. There is no coffee. Just a pot of rice doing its best to sound like a volcanic vent. You sit up and remember you're in the corner of the room, the one room, the only room. You are one of 8 people currently sharing this space, maybe 9, if you count the infant as a separate entity, which you absolutely do at 2 in the morning. You're sleeping on what used to be a dining mat and what still might technically be a dining mat, depending on how quickly someone wants to clear breakfast. Your grandfather is already up. He's tying something with string, muttering about slippers that no one ever returns. Your aunt is trying to find her glasses. You're trying not to exist too loudly. This is post-trauma family living, not the kind with speeches or breakthroughs, just soft chaos. The trauma part, that happened a while ago. What matters now is the aftermath, how everyone returned to the same house, quietly, like birds folding back into a nest that no longer fits. You move quietly, as is custom. If you do it fast, you'll wake the baby. If you do it slow, you'll trip over your cousin's backpack. You step past a line of shoes, 4 sizes, 3 brands, all mysteriously wet. Now here's the fun part. Breakfast is not a meal, it's a process. Someone has made eggs. Someone else is arguing that eggs are too heavy in this weather. There is toast, but it's being used to coax the cat out from under the futon. And let's talk about the futons. Plural. Folded and refolded daily, stored behind a sliding door that definitely sticks every time you try to open it. Historians still argue whether Japanese efficiency or pure survival instinct gave rise to space-saving sleeping arrangements. Either way, your lower back has never known such diplomacy. You glance at the calendar taped to the wall. It's from 3 years ago. Nobody changes it. Maybe because it's pinned in the only spot that gets good light. Or maybe because nobody wants to be the one to admit this year is different. Again. Here's a quirky fact. In Edo period Japan, families often shared not only homes but floor mats. Privacy wasn't measured by square footage. It was measured by silence, by knowing when not to comment, when not to ask. The etiquette of omission. You're starting to get good at it. Outside, a neighbor knocks on the door to return a borrowed ladle. Your uncle answers shirtless, with the confidence of a man who believes he once saw a snake in the yard and has never emotionally recovered. You wonder if you'll ever reach that level of domestic audacity. In the corner, your little niece is trying to draw on the tatami with a crayon. Your mother gently takes it from her, hands her paper, and tells her to draw the family. She draws a house with one giant window and lots of arms waving from inside. It's suspiciously accurate. There's laughter, not big laughter, just enough. Someone says something about taking turns in the bath. You're 8th. You know you're 8th. You always are. The water might still be warm. Might. You think back to your old place, quiet, structured, probably cleaner. But somehow, less alive, less funny, less full. And you realize something. Family after trauma doesn't mean perfect peace. It means learning how to share again, how to not snap at the slippers on the floor, how to listen when someone mutters something about soup, and how to breathe when there's no such thing as personal space. You look around the room and it feels like a living thing, loud, tangled, loving. Too many elbows, not enough outlets, and somehow that's okay, because you're here, and they are too. You're in the kitchen now, or what passes for it. A small counter, 2 burners, and an unreasonable number of mugs for people who never agree on tea. There's a curtain pretending to be a door. It flutters whenever someone walks past, which is often. Today, you're in charge of lunch. Or maybe you volunteered. Or maybe everyone just walked away when you were holding the spoon. Your grandmother appears beside you with silent authority. She doesn't say much, but she does remove half the ingredients you plan to use. Then she hands you a single onion and nods, like this is now a spiritual trial. You chop like your life depends on it. Because in this household, cooking is love, but also a group performance. You blink, and suddenly your cousin is in the kitchen too. He's grating something. He says it's a carrot. It looks suspiciously like a sweet potato. Someone drops a lid. Someone else shushes them. The baby starts crying. The cat bolts from under the table with a sound like betrayal. This is the orchestra of midday, hunger, noise, and 10 different opinions on how long rice should steam. Post-trauma family meals are complicated, not because anyone means harm, but because no one really knows what to do with the silence. So they fill it with advice, with memories, with stories that start with, "You know what your father used to say, even when you don't." There's a moment, as you stir the soup, when you think, this is what recovery looks like. Not a clean line, but a simmering pot of too many ingredients. Some things will blend. Others will sit at the bottom, waiting. Your sister walks in and asks, "Do you remember when Mom used to burn the tofu on purpose?" And you do. She said it gave it character. You all pretended to like it. It was strangely comforting. Someone adds soy sauce. Someone else removes it. A third person insists it needs more salt and less mood. This is not fine dining. This is survival cuisine, with laughter baked in. Here's a fringe detail. In many post-war Japanese households, meals became a way to create normalcy. Even when the rice was rationed, even when ingredients were improvised, people still gathered around food. It wasn't about what was served. It was about what was shared. You ladle soup into bowls, mismatched bowls, some chipped, all still in use. The table is low. Everyone finds a place on the floor, legs crossed, backs curved, elbows cautious. The cat returns and claims a spot like royalty. You eat in a kind of rhythm. Chopsticks clink. Someone slurps too loudly. No one complains. This is the language of "we're okay today." There's a story about an ancestor that makes no sense. Someone misremembers a wedding. Someone else insists they were there, even though the math doesn't check out. But you let it pass. Because here, facts are optional, and connection is the real seasoning. And the food? It's actually pretty good. Even the tofu that may or may not be intentional. You feel something loosen in your chest. You didn't know you were holding tension. But it slips out with the steam, with the laughter, with the rice that's just slightly too sticky. No one says, "We've come a long way." But they don't need to, because healing doesn't come with a speech. It comes with a second helping. You finish your bowl. Someone is already washing the dishes, humming something tuneless. You offer to help and are waved away with exaggerated offense. You sit back down. The floor is hard but familiar. The sun filters through the curtain. The baby is sleeping again. The house is, for a moment, still. And you think, this is enough. The afternoon moves like honey, slow, golden, and just a little sticky. Someone has opened the window, and the breeze carries the faint scent of soap, old tatami, and distant frying oil from another house. You're sitting by the wall now, near the shoe rack that's never quite organized. The light slants across the room in long, quiet bars. This is the part of the day when people start pretending they aren't tired. Your uncle is nodding off with a newspaper balanced on his chest. Your cousin is reading, which in this house means staring blankly at a book with your eyes half closed. The cat, traitorous as ever, has chosen to nap in the one sunbeam meant for you. And you? Well, you're thinking. Post-trauma family life is quieter in the afternoon, not silent, just softer. There's no schedule now, no structure, no urgent need to get anywhere because for once everyone is already here, which, depending on your mood, feels either like safety or like being stuck in a very polite hostage situation. Still, you can't deny it. There's a strange rhythm to all of this, a kind of domestic jazz, a creaky dance where everyone knows when to step back. You hear it in the hallway, someone shuffling slippers just to stretch their legs. You hear it in the sigh your grandmother lets out when the teapot finally empties. You hear it in your own breath as you realize you haven't checked your phone in hours. Here's a quirky little note. During the Edo period, large extended families often lived under one roof, not because it was easy, but because it made survival possible. Shared costs, shared food, shared air. Privacy wasn't something you demanded. It was something you carved out with careful glances and light footsteps. It's not so different now. Your aunt begins folding laundry without being asked. Your younger cousin starts drawing again. This time, it's a picture of a dragon with a rice bowl. No one questions the symbolism. The dragon is smiling, and so is the bowl. And then there's that one object in the corner, the empty chair, not symbolic, not tragic, just there. Someone used to sit in it. They don't anymore. No one says why. But when the baby crawls toward it, someone gently redirects her without a word. That's how it is in a house like this. Some things are spoken, and some things are just known. The day drifts on. Someone brews more tea. The clock ticks. You hear a bus go by, and it doesn't feel like something you're missing. It feels like a world that can wait. You lie back against a cushion that's far too thin, but somehow still supportive. The cat finally comes back and curls up on your knee as if it's been waiting for this specific moment. And in that moment, with nothing happening and everything happening, you feel a kind of calm, a hum, like the house is breathing and you're breathing with it. You don't know how long this will last. Maybe someone will get a new job. Maybe someone will move out. Maybe life will rearrange itself, as it always does. But for now, this is what healing looks like. It's not dramatic. It doesn't come with applause or timelines. It's an unfinished room full of slippers, a third cup of tea, a too salty stew, a nap that no one admits they needed. It's everyone surviving. Together. Let the air settle around you now. The house grows even quieter. The voices fade to a gentle hum. No one is rushing. No one is reaching. It's just you resting in this small, full world where even the walls seem to exhale. The sunlight has dimmed. That golden stretch of late afternoon has melted into soft blue shadows. The cat is still asleep. The cushion under your back feels like it remembers your shape. Someone is folding the last towel of the day. Someone else is stirring the evening broth. But not loudly. Everything here is careful, slow, and kind. Let that feeling reach your chest. Let it loosen your jaw. Let your hands unclench without even realizing they were tight. This is the kind of quiet that doesn't ask questions, doesn't demand answers, just allows you to be. Tomorrow will come. The house will stir. The rice will steam. Someone will knock over a cup, and someone else will laugh. But that's later. That's another chapter. For now, there's nothing to fix, nothing to solve, just the quiet company of people who might drive you a little bit crazy, but who never leave the room when it matters. Breathe into that. Let your thoughts trail off like steam from a miso bowl. Let the noise of the world slide shut like a paper screen closing gently between rooms. You are safe here. You are not alone. Close your eyes now. Let the day end. Let rest begin.